And so for the next portion, I am going to share with you, thanks to our friends from the PLDT Smart Foundation, a video of their projects.
We go through great lengths to awaken a child's sense of wonder. For displaced families to feel the warmth and joy of a home. For future educators to pursue their passion. There are no quotas in mind, because compassion knows no bounds. And we are grateful for the opportunity to be of help in their darkest hours. Wherever they are on the map, we seek them out and help them get back on their feet. Because the true reward of altruism goes beyond figures. It is the priceless moment of knowing that we have given hope when hope looked forlorn. Empowering people to rebuild higher and better dreams. Enabling them to dream again. 24 years and counting. The road opens up to more opportunities to reach out to every single Filipino who needs our help. There is no challenge too daunting, no task too difficult, no goal too high. Together with our partners, we will stay true to our mission. Because in our hearts and in everything that we do, we believe in this nation, that every Filipino life counts.
Words are not enough to describe how grateful I am. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. If I could give anyone just a piece of advice, what would it be? Never give up. Never give up on your dreams.
When we were trying to think of the best person to speak to you tonight, we all thought that this woman would be the best because she not only works for the development industry, but she also embodies all of the qualities that we wanted to see in our enterprises. I'd like to introduce our special guest speaker for the evening. She joined the PLDT Smart Foundation as president in 2011. She graduated from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where she took up her master's degree in development economics, as well as her BA in economics. In 2013, our speaker was also a member of the pioneer batch that completed the Advanced Management Program of the University of Asia and the Pacific, together with the IESE Business School in Barcelona, Spain. Our speaker has worked for financial institutions and local conglomerates in various capacities as financial analyst, research head of equities and trust divisions, and fund manager. Before joining the PLDT Smart Foundation, she was the only Filipina to be designated country delegate for Fundación Codespa, a non-profit organization dedicated to international development cooperation that created development strategies and programs with His Royal Highness, the Prince of Spain, as honorary chairman. She also worked with several local foundations and advocacies for women and the youth. Her foundation experience mostly entailed strategic fund management, building strategy framework for implementation, and project management. She is currently a member of the Board of Trustees of Radio Veritas and ASA Microfinance. She was a staffer for the ASEAN Business Advisory Council Philippines Chair Mr. Manny Pangilinan for 2013 to 2016, and she represented the ABAC Philippines in the ABAC Women's Working Group. Friends in the development industry, please join me in warmly welcoming the President of the PLDT Smart Foundation, Ms. Esther O. Santos.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening, Mr. Yap and all our VIPs on the head table, and to all of you, the nominees and finalists for today's awards. Thank you for inviting me to this. Is that my voice? It's the drums. Thank you for inviting me to this evening ceremony. So allow me to introduce myself apart from what we have been given, and allow myself and our organization. I'm Esther Santos. I'm president of PLDT Smart Foundation, or PSF. It is the social outreach arm of the PLDT and its wireless subsidiary, Smart Communications. On September 5 this year, we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary, a milestone we share with the BCY Foundation. PSF's main areas of action are education, community development, disaster response, livelihood and economic development, and our chairman's favorite, sports. So next slide, which is our 25th year logo. So we'll keep it there first. So a lot of my friends say that I have one of the best jobs in the world. Truly, to have a job that brings kindness and blessings to others is a blessing. Even as CSR and social development are my passion, entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship have always fascinated me. I had a brief experience as an entrepreneur, although I have to admit that I was not all that successful. Nevertheless, I realized that entrepreneurs are the real drivers of the economy, like the ones we have at the head table, the real drivers of the economy. So we should hope that we have more successful entrepreneurs, more so social entrepreneurs in our country. Okay. In 2012 to 13, PLDT and PSF launched a social enterprise competition for the youth called Project Pagsulong. It was a wonderful project ideated by some of the most forward-thinking of my colleagues in PLDT. We were able to count on some of the young role models at that time, next slide, like former Senator Bam Aquino, Chris Tew, Reese and Mark Ruiz, to name a few of the ambassadors of that campaign. In fact, Cherry Atilano, who is one of your nominees, is one of them. And one of the winners, actually, of the Project Pagsulong at that time was Patch Dulay, who is also a finalist in your competition. In fact, the Spark project was funded by our award. Our award, yes. Unfortunately, we were only able to have one run of Project Pagsulong because soon after, the MVP Group Startup Incubator Idea Space was launched, and we felt that incubating social enterprises would best be done by an ecosystem enabler like Idea Space. Nevertheless, that was our launch. Nevertheless, we remain in the business of nation building. Next slide. With our main telecommunications business, as well as with the work of our corporate foundations and CSR units. So this mission of nation building is driven largely by our chairman, Mr. Manny V. Pangilinan, or MVP. Next slide, keep it there. We in PSF recently helped produce a podcast interview of MVP. You can check it out on Puma Podcast entitled Ang Playlist ng Buhay Ko with MVP. From that podcast, one can draw many life lessons from the very candid answers of MVP. I recommend that you listen to it on Spotify. So, I would like to highlight some of those thoughts that our boss so intimately shared in the podcast. So, number one lesson, you need to take risks. MVP was often considered too aggressive, but as he said, one has to be in order to survive in business. And this is a very characteristic of MVP. You have to put in the hours of work. You have to work hard. He's really the best definition of MVP. He works very hard. And I quote from him from this book that we put together of his speeches, which I will give to Mr. Yap after tonight. Mr. MVP said, I came from modest origins, but if there is something that characterizes 3 generations of my family, it has been hard work and perseverance, coupled with faith and prayer. It was a way of life for us, the only way with which to lift ourselves up and break the glass ceiling. MVP also defines himself as a proud OFW. He does not advocate leaving the country for its own sake, but leave in order to learn, in order to compete with the best. And he also adds, come home and help our country afterwards. Fourth lesson, give back, help those who need it most. This mission to help our country of MVP is so strong, it is truly the driving force behind the work of our corporate foundations and companies. Dream big, otherwise big things will not happen. These lyrics are from a song that I'm sure the young people will no longer know, but maybe Mr. Yap and the others at the head table might this might sound familiar. These are lyrics from a song from a Broadway play, and I used to hear this on a kids don't know it anymore long playing album. It was something we had in our house, my parents had, and I really like that song. And part of the lyrics goes, it's called Happy Talk. That's the title of the song. And in one line, he said, the one singing it says, "You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna have a dream come true?" So it's very true. And this thought came to my mind one day during my quiet time. I was thinking of things we can do in line with our 25th anniversary, but I was also cautious as resources in the foundation and PLDT Smart Foundation are also limited, even as others might think the contrary. MVP's birthday falls on July 14. Usually we celebrate it in Apalit, Pampanga, his hometown. But lately we have been celebrating it more intimately with his family, and usually we have a CSR activity to celebrate around that date. So during that quiet time, I thought of holding a fundraising fun run to celebrate his birthday. And that's what I will be using as the framework for my talk, actually, because it was like a refresher course on entrepreneurship. So my succeeding lessons on entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship were gleaned from that experience, that one bright idea would soon shake me out of my comfort zone and back to the angst I used to experience during my days as a small-time entrepreneur. From that one small dream to do something different was born the MVP Superhero Run. And as I said, I will use this as my framework for the lessons I would like to share. Although not strictly a social enterprise, the MVP Superhero Run brought together a social cause and our entrepreneur smarts to make it work. And please take note that between the idea to MVP's approval and to the final outcome, we just had less than 2 months to pull it off. His birthday was July 14, we just moved it to July 20, but we had less than a month actually to work on it. And some of my lessons from that time. Entrepreneurs have to be leaders, and leaders have to be entrepreneurs. These are skills we all need, whether in a for-profit, in a not-for-profit, or social enterprise. Trying to learn by doing, observing, and asking questions. Because really, entrepreneurship and leadership is learned by practice. It's not, sorry for UP, but it's not just from school. It really comes with practice. And so we, young as you are, should try to learn how to be both entrepreneur and leader. Be a real social entrepreneur, and don't just be a social media entrepreneur. What do I mean by that? I am, of course, with PLDT and SMART, we are supporters of social media. But don't let the number of followers and likes be the measure of your success. Numbers always talk, but I'm here referring to financial and social impact numbers. So we're very lucky that we have Mr. Yap and his mentors, because these are the true measures of success. Even to us, these numbers, they talk to us, the true measures of success. Usually we define the social entrepreneur as having a social cause and impact, plus entrepreneur profits or sustainability, and that's how we get the social entrepreneur. Both sides matter to us. And part of being an entrepreneur is the constant pressure to pay salaries, fees, taxes, etc. There was a time when I was still an entrepreneur, small time, I was thinking to myself, it's like I'm just earning money to pay salaries. All the time, whatever we earn from the restaurant goes to paying salaries of the cook, the waiter. But I think of this, that providing livelihood and jobs is a social good in itself. This is something that MVP always monitors. He always asks, how many jobs and livelihoods are we creating in the course of our business and CSR? It is easy to be a leader when things are going well, but leadership truly emerges not during times of triumph, but of hardship and even failure. Just remember this, as MVP said, These mistakes and failures are part of life's rich tapestry. There will be false starts and wrong turns in your journey, and what counts is how you find your way back. So, in order to find your way back, always go back to your purpose. Draw inspiration and learn from the people you want to help. When I was starting in my social development career, I had a senior who mentored me. She had been working for international organizations. And she told me, Esther, whenever we enter a community, even with the intention of helping them, we disturb them. It's true, sometimes we think we have the best idea, my social enterprise will save the world, will help people, especially the poor. But whenever we introduce change, we actually disturb them. So we have to make sure they want that change. But we all need that change in this world. Caring and kindness should be the way of the world. And this is a lesson we are learning from the youth. I'm really very inspired when, during the time of Project Pagsulong and whenever we work with young people, they are the ones who are really changing the world. And we learn also from the people we are helping. Often I would see how children, upon distribution of our gifts or meals, would save them in order to share them with their families when they get home. And ever things get tough, this is something that I just saw. Well, the inspiration just comes from anywhere. I was watching a movie on HBO, I think, and there was this old movie, The Matrix Reloaded. And there was one scene where there was a key maker and they were trying the keys in different doors. And the key maker said, because one door was locked, and he said, "There's always another way." And while I was, just thinking of how to make our superhero run work, that's what kept me going. There's always another way. When you find a closed door, always think there's always another way. But after that, in order to find that other way, things will always work out if we have faith and if we are not alone. Really, that's the most important thing. We can't do these things, social enterprisers, business, we can't do this alone. So this is how our superhero run happened last Saturday. It's still so fresh in my mind, but we were also high because everything worked out so well. We had almost 2,000 runners, and we were able to, and we had good weather because there was a typhoon at the time, and we also raised a lot of money. So, in fact, the story of how we put this all together is really a story of miracles, prayers, and you show the next slide. Because, last one week into the run, the one who was going to promise us the grand prize couldn't confirm. It was supposed to be a trip abroad. And so I said, oh my gosh, we have 1 week and we have to announce the prize already. So sent emails, texts to all my people who could help me. And we were able to come up with the grand prizes of a round-trip trip to Bangkok, all expense-paid trip to Cebu, coffee machines, luggage, and cash money. So, and literally, each one was a text or an email away. So that's so important. Friendships and relationships matter. They gave because it was for a good cause, and that's the lesson I learned. You have to ask. Sometimes we think now, they will come to me, they will come to me. No, you have to ask, because people will not know you need it unless you ask. So after you have put in all you've got, then a hero comes along. Maybe even two. This is the one that really brought in the people running, because they wanted to meet the superhero mayors. We had, and also these two, to tell you frankly, we invited them 1 week to go, and even to the last minute, we weren't sure if they were coming, but they came, and really, they're rock stars. So maybe even two, and many more. And I was wondering, no? Okay, next slide. Yeah, so there we had our executives, we had other heroes. These were the winners of the race. And I was thinking, sige, next slide. Why are we, syempre, I had to have a selfie with two superheroes. And I was thinking, why are we so drawn to these heroes? Mayors Isko, Vico, and even MVP himself. I think it is because they bring hope. Action and energy that come from being young and driven. This is something that's really moving the pace of our society. The way Mayor Isko works every day, every night, he has a parang reality show of how he changes everything in Manila. That's the change we need to see in our country, and I think it will really come from young people. So I share here the manifesto of the youth, which we used for Project Pagsulong, which we used for that competition years back. And I think these words are still relevant, especially for the youth and our social entrepreneurs. May I call on a young person to read it?
Young pa po. Alright. Our land may know poverty, but we are not poor in determination and imagination. Bilang kabataan, hindi namin tanggap ang ganitong kalagayan o ang katwirang kami bata para mapakinggan. We can make a stand to take a step forward. We believe we can help build our nation. Kami may kakayanang gumamit ng teknolohiya tungo sa pag-unlad. Kami may lakas ng loob solusyonan ang mga problema ng nakaraan. Our visions and ideas matter with Project Pagsulong. They have a chance to become reality. In this quest for progress and prosperity, we know we will succeed. We have the numbers. We have the motivation. We have the capability. Together, we have the opportunity as one nation. We can make things happen. We are young. We are here. We are ready.
Thank you very much, Joanna. And to close, I now quote from the voice of experience and wisdom from my boss, MVP. Success is about passion. Passion to succeed, passion for excellence, passion to compete. My experience taught me to believe that depth of commitment can overcome lack of resources, that the spirit of purpose can give impetus to human energy, that the power of ambition can set heroic goals and achievement. Thank you. Congratulations in advance. Be super, be a hero.